Welcome, everybody, to Moriarty, New Mexico, right here where the Pintos play. But we're going to have the game between number 1 and number 2 in this neutral site. Of course, it'll be Farmington Lady Scorpions going up against the Hobbs Lady Eagles. Right now, it is bonus coverage as we have 3:39 to go for the JV game, and it is the score of 37-30. We'll talk about that in a second as they are in break. 3:35 to go before the end of this game. And, of course, we're also going to have the complete game of the varsity. Once again, 37-30. The Hobbs Lady Eagles over the JV squad of the Scorpions in Farmington. Again, this is Moriarty. My name is Ron Gunter. And at the behind the camera is going to be Max Schrack to take care of the images. And it's going to be a little later than normal, but that's all right because these two teams are definitely going to be going toe-to-toe tonight, as right now it is a 2-3 lead for the Farmington Lady Scorpions in the last 5 games. So the Scorpions have won 3 games and lost 2. In fact, of course, that was a 2-game win streak that they had broken from the last game, which of course was the Hobbs Holiday Tournament, where it was just a 65-62 win for the Lady Scorpions. And I think this will be another tight one as well, as either that or maybe a blowout, because the last couple that Hobbs has won have been blowouts. Last year it was 67-31, and then at the Holiday Tournament we were able to beat the Scorpions by a score of 85-16. I definitely don't believe it's going to be that far off on either side. Then a couple years ago, it was here at Moriarty when it was 46-45. That was the loss for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. And another one at the Hobbs Holiday Tournament back in 2021, 61-57. And that was also the championship game as well. So, on with the bonus coverage. It's going to be Eastern University, First American Bank of Hobbs, Badger, Master Plumbers, MR Pipeline, Hobbs Express, Lasco Construction, along with Divine Energy Services, Unis Pump and Supply, Forest Tire, TDS, SunGuard Precision, DNC Electric, Southwest Siding, Windows and Doors, along with Lee County State Bank and Bel Air Bowl. Thank you very much for all of the support. Without you, we would not be able to put these on the internet and free for charge, whether you're on HobbsAmerica.com or YouTube. It is always there, archived, and you can watch anytime now or afterwards at your convenience. Be back in a moment with 3 minutes, just a little over 3 minutes, 37-30. Actually, let's go ahead and talk about that for a second. It was 8-6 at the end of the first with Farmington in the lead. Halftime saw a 57.2 seconds remaining, 43-32, 11-point lead for the Hobbs Lady Eagles as the JV squad continues to hold the lead as they got it back in the second quarter. Thanks for being here with us. We got bonus coverage on the JV squad. Like I said, 57.2 seconds remaining before we get the warm-ups for the varsity team. And it'll be number 1, Farmington Lady Scorpions versus number 2, Hobbs Lady Eagles. And it should be a good one as we are continuing this coverage. Last time these two played, it was 65-62. In fact, it was a 3-point lead for Hobbs at halftime for the championship of the Hobbs tournament. after getting 19-17, then 20-19 in the second quarter, 20 for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. And that ended up with a 39-36 halftime score. But Farmington chipped back and got it tied up at the end of the third quarter. 16-13 was the score for the third quarter, and of course that was 42-42. And the fourth quarter, pretty much slow down for the Scorpions. Winning that one at 13-10 fourth quarter. And of course, again, won it by 3, 65-62. So Hobbs would like to get a little revenge on that one, get back into it, and they've been winning ever since. Both sides. The Scorpions have a 6-game win streak going on, and the Eagles, with all those games in Albuquerque, a 7-game winning streak. The last time they did lose, that was to Farmington. Last time Farmington lost, that was against Kirtland Central. Both of these teams have faced that squad. Kirtland Central, it was 62-48. 14-point loss for the Farmington squad. Then Hobbs played them in the Albuquerque tournament and won 68-63, a 5-point win. So that's 9 points difference between the two. 14 loss, 5-point win for the Lady Eagles. I think that was the one they scored it. Kirtland Central tied the game at 63, and then Hobbs put on 5 more points at the end of the game to get a 5-0 run to end the game. 43-20 or 32 is the score, the final score for the JV squad. And we will be back in a moment. We're going to see how long we're going to get for a warm-up. And actually, it's going to be pretty good as far as time-wise. Just 10 minutes off so far. And that fourth quarter score, Farmington 10, Hobbs 8. 43-32 once again, JV squad victorious. We'll be back in a moment as we continue coverage to get you into the pregame for the number 1 Farmington Lady Scorpions against the number 2 Hobbs Lady Eagles. And in fact, by the way, Kirtland Central, if you get them on the New Mexico stats, they are number 2 in the rankings ahead of Hobbs. Be back in a moment. Played was against Gallup at Gallup. That game ended up being a 53-50 win for them, so a 3-point win for the Scorpions against Gallup. Their next game is going to be Rio Rancho. Hobbs has one more game, of course, Rio Rancho for the Farmington Scorpions. That is going to be district, so they're going to be starting district after this game. So this is basically a tune for them to get into district. For the Hobbs Lady Eagles, of course, we know they had a good run at the tournament in Albuquerque. As before then, they faced at home. This was their last times at home. Centennial 70-39 was the victory for them there. And then Oregon Mountain 63-20 was a huge victory for them as well, before they had to go on. Going to take a break, be back in a moment as we continue coverage right here, talk about more about these two teams and get our sponsors in as well. Thanks for watching. So roughly about 250 miles away from Farmington and around 280 miles away from Hobbs. right, after a little bit of doctoring around, hopefully that'll get everything better. Thank you very much for being here, by the way. And once again, we have about 5 minutes to go before we get underway. We're probably going to have the national anthem as well. Going to get the starters for you, actually. We like to party as we get along with this, and it against this Farmington squad goes back to 2021. Both teams with a winning record or winning streak, 6 for the Lady Scorpions and 7 for the Lady Eagles. Of course, somebody's going to have to lose that, and we're hoping it won't be the Lady Eagles as they're getting tuned up for, once again, the district. One more game, and that'll be Artesia next week. In Artesia, in fact, the girls and the boys will be playing girls first, and then the boys. And then after that, for the Farmington squad, they're going to be starting district against the number 3 team in the 5A. That'd be, of course, Rio Rancho. Checking in on our lineups, making sure everything is right. There we go, and let's see. All right, let's take a moment. I will get these lineups for you, and then we'll get started right here as we're about to get underway. 2.5 minutes to go. Thanks for watching. All right, we're back, and we're going to get through the lineup. It is going to be number 4, Lupe, Ziandra Lupe, along with Marquetta Wilson, number 20. Number 20 for a junior, a freshman. It's going to be Yuli Daniels, 5'5", number 22. Number 20, actually has number 24, will be Harmony Thomas, number 30, 5'5", senior. Also a captain, it's Talitha George. Number 33, 5'9", that'll be a junior, Kaylin Mulhan, along with 5'8", senior. Number 40, Aliyah Thomas. And number 44, 5'9", that's a senior, Amri Garfield. For the starters, there's also Ari Charlie, number 2, senior, at 5'2". Looks like the starters for the Scorpions will be Caris Dale, number 3. She is a senior, along with captain as well. Along with number 12, that'll be Chinoa Parrish, who has 11.4 points a game. Dale has 11.6 points a game, averaging this season. And it is also going to be McKenna Pete, senior, 5'7", number 14, starting along with Carly Conley. 11.6 once again, her score each and every game, or average anyway. 5'10", 13 is what she wears. And it will also be Kajana and Tala. And she gets 15.8 points a game for the senior, wearing number 23. Those are the starters for the Lady Scorpions. We're going to go ahead and take a break. We're going to get the national anthem, be back, and we'll get you the Hobbs Lady Eagles starting lineup in just a moment. All right, just got the national anthem, and we're about to get underway. Dale had 19 points in the last game against these two squads on that 31st of December. Along with Parrish had 16 points. Conley with 11 and 13 points for Ane Tula. So for the Lady Eagles, it is once again going to be Zapata along with Armitage. Zapata had 19 points in the last game between these two squads. Armitage had 13 points. Hardison got 4 points put in. It was Zoe Ross, number 24, with 7 points in the last game, and Caitlin Muniz with 12 points altogether. 16-2 is the record. Wants to get it to 17. Of course, Farmington wants to continue their winning streak and get it to 15 for them before they start district. These two teams getting introduced right now. Of course, we also have Mendoza along with Mojica, Rivera, Navarro, along with Mackey, Monroe, and Godwin on the floor for the bench. So it'll be interesting to see Dale with 11.6 average, but did get the 19 points against the Eagles. Parrish with 11.4 average for the season, but got 16 points against them in that championship game. Conley with 11.6, but it got her average at 11, so that's pretty good for her as well. And it was, or is, Gajani and Etula with 13 points. Her average just a little bit above that with almost 16 at 15.8 as they are introducing the Lady Scorpions at this neutral floor. But you couldn't tell because it is green and white just like their uniforms. So the girls will be black with white lettering, while Scorpions will have white uniforms, green lettering as well. So we are about to get underway. And we'll see if this height hinders or helps the Lady Scorpions against this quick Lady Eagles team. Of course, Hardison set and ready to go for the tip. Coaches meet and shake hands. And that is Thomas Adair versus, of course, Joey Carpenter. Carpenter on the all-time leading coaches wins with second place. And continues to win both in Roswell now and here at Hobbs. He's been very successful here in Hobbs, as we all know. So getting underneath there is going to be Conley versus Hardison. Hardison gets the ball and goes to Armitage right away for Zepeda underneath, and a nice assist for Armitage and a shot for, that would be, of course, Zepeda, 2-0. Cross the line quickly, as I suspected they would be. Tries for a shot. Armitage gets the steal, gets it up to Ross, who's going to take it inside. Gets it blocked, but will get it over to Zepeda. And that is going to be, working it back again, Zepeda. Zepeda over to Muniz for three on the way, and bingo, and she gets that one to draw the strings. And it is already 2 assists for, actually 1 assist for Zepeda, and 5 points for the Lady Eagles. Going back the other way, it is Dale inside, over across now. Now back inside, back out again to the tall player, Conley. Tries to get that up and moving, but does not. Armitage with the rebound. And that is her first. It's going to be in the hands now of, that is Muniz, over to her right wing to Zepeda, goes, drives the lane inside, dishes it to the left to Ross. And now back to the top, once again to Muniz on the right wing. Zepeda on her left, goes to the top of the arc. Pushes it over to Armitage. She did not drive the lane. She gets it across to Muniz after getting it over to Hardison. Muniz with the ball now, gets it to the right wing. Over to Armitage as they're working the defense, trying to get around something. Finally gets a drive in. Armitage lays it up, misses, and it'll be rebound by. That'll be Pete, her first. 6-14, and it is a 5-point lead for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. Up and under. Nice assist. That is going to be by Antuili, and that'll be a gain for, let's see, that'll be 2 points for Dale. Tries to get underneath and does Ross, but instead draws the foul after the shot attempt. And that'll be the first foul. That'll go up against Parrish, her first, team's first as well for the Lady Scorpions, as it puts to the line to shoot 2. That'll be Ross. First one's going to go up and sink in. Nothing but net. Godwin coming in, and that will be Hardison leaving, so being substituted by Katie Godwin. Second attempt up, and also makes it, fixes the net as well. 7-2, 5-point lead for the Hobbs Lady Eagles, biggest of the game so far. As it gets across the timeline, that'll be in the hands of Parrish. And getting teamed up by Ross. Goes inside, back out again, and that is going to be in the hands of Anatula. Pushed from Armitage over to Ross. Gets across the timeline, up, and coast to coast for 2 on that one. Nicely done as Armitage gets another steal. Speaking of another steal, that's Ross with the steal. Armitage feeds it back to Ross for a 3-pointer on the way. And in and out, no good for Ross. Back across. Tried to lay it up on the left-hand side for Dale, or Charlie, actually. No, it was Dale, and missed the shot. Looks like it'll be a turnover for Farmington, their first. As we are going back and forth. 5:07 to go, 9-2 is the score. And let's see, let's fix that. 9-2 is the score as we have a substitution coming in. Going out will be, that'll be Pete. And coming in was Charlie. Crossed over to Muniz, to Zepeda across the timeline. Armitage, center, as she drops a dime on that one and puts it in for 2. And that'll be a nice assist for Zepeda and 2 more for Armitage. She's got 4. Whistle on the floor, and it looks like it's going to be a timeout, or not a timeout, but a turnover for Farmington. That's their second one so far. 11-2 is the score. And Zepeda inbounding the ball. That's the second turnover for the Lady Scorpions. Mendoza with the ball. Gets it knocked out of bounds. It will remain Hobbs' ball, as honor was Conley. It is Conley. Inbound of the ball. Zepeda on the corner. Gets it inside Hardison, who's back in the game. Tries to get underneath their defender. Misses, but a rebound by Ross. And Mendoza with the ball now. She drives inside the lane, puts it up, and misses. Rebound is going to be by Parrish, her first. Up underneath, tried to get the ball, but instead rebounded by, that is Hardison, her first. As it goes all the way across, Parrish, that is Zepeda with a shot and drops it in. Nice little dime shot, it's a teardrop shot actually. And 2 more points for the Lady Eagles. 13-2, 11-point lead. We have a timeout on the floor. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Quiz Out, of course, we will not be able to do these. The Eastern New Mexico University, First American Bank of Hobbs, Badger, Master Plumbers, along with NMR Pipeline, Hobbs Express, Lasco Construction, Divine Energy Services, Eunice Pump and Supply, Forest Tire, TDS. It is also SunGuard Precision, DNC Electric, Southwest Sliding, Windows and Doors, Lee County State Bank, and Bel Air Bowl. Thank you all very much for supporting us. Without you, of course, we would not be able to put these on the air. Just under 4 minutes ago, 3:57 to be exact, as we just saw the junior JV squad come by. And of course, they had a victory earlier. 13-2 as it is inbounded into the hands now of Anatolia. And now back over. Top of the arc to the right now. Further to the right as she puts up a 3 on the way and misses off the front of the mark. That is going to be Conley. And rebounded by Muniz. Muniz with a rebound as she gets it across. Still has the ball, working it inside. Tries for a teardrop herself. Gets it off the back, gets her own rebound. Dishes it to Ross for 3 and on the way, and it is a boom. So that is a nice little assist. And speaking of which, another steal possible. And a rebound for Muniz. Going to get some substitutions coming in. Armitage coming back along with Rivera for the first time. As we get Zepeda off the floor as well as Ross. So it is now 16-2 and 3:09, and we weren't expecting this, but hey, we were hoping that Hobbs would be coming out strong, and they are so far against this squad. Back underneath and puts up a layup for 2. That is nicely done as it was Kajini with the shot. 2 points on that one. Ross, that's Mendoza, puts up a 3 and misses. Rebound by, what did we go out of bounds? Last touch by maybe Rivera. Yes, it is. So Rivera with that, 2:44 to go. It's 16-4 now. As we're hoping our broadcast is in better condition as far as the signal goes, but we can only do what we can do with the internet. As that one is lost, picked up by Rivera, and that is her first steal. Going to be Rivera, left or right wing right now. Back over to Navarro. Drive lane, push up a shot just beyond the arc or just beyond the free throw line. Misses it, and will be rebounded by. It is Anatile. I'm trying to say this with speed. Anatula. Turnover for Lady Scorpions. Third one, at least, of the game, as it is in the hands now of Rivera. Goes to her right. Mendoza to Zepeda. Madison going to drive the lane. Nope, she's going to turn around and feed it back over to Rivera. She's going to feed it inside, underneath, and that's going to go to Navarro. Misses the shot, though. Rebound by. That'll be Harmony, her first. Three-pointer on the way. Misses everything. And it will be almost, it will go ahead and get into the hands of a rebound for Mendoza, her first. Cross for a three-pointer on the way from Zepeda. Nothing but net. Her first of the game. It is now 19-4. Minute 30 to go in the first, and Hobbs on a roll as that one misses everything. Goes back the other way for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. Another turnover for the Scorpions. Goes out of bounds, and that'll be a turnover for Hobbs. Second one of the game. Inbound of the ball will be Parrish. Genoa Parrish, that is, again, 11.4 points a game. She had 16 against Hobbs. Right now, let's see, I believe she's got no points. Full court press on right now as it is Rivera. Gets it across the timeline. Double team, triple team. Goes up against Godwin and will be drawing the foul. Let's see who gets the foul as that was with 1:08 to go. And that will be Katie Godwin, her first. Teams first. Both teams have only gotten one foul in this quarter so far, so nobody in bonus. As on the line to shoot two is Anatolia. First one's in. That'll make it 19-5 with 1:08 to go in the first. One more opportunity to go. And makes them both. Both teams 2 for 2 on the line so far. 19-6, Hobbs with the ball, goes to Zepeda inside, puts up a shot just underneath the free throw line and makes it drop in. 21-6, 49 seconds to go as the Scorpions get across the timeline. Almost stolen, but it is knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Muniz. With 43.9 seconds to go, it'll be inbounded by, that'll be Paris. Genoa Paris. Parrish. With 40 seconds, Rivera on her. Going back to the right wing. Now over to the left. Loses the ball. It'll be picked up or trapped by Ross was one of those that was over there along with Conley. And with 28 seconds, 28.8 seconds remaining, it'll be Farmington ball still. Stolen, and that'll be a steal from Muniz all the way across. Gets it back over to Ross. Puts up a shot and misses, but a steal nevertheless for, that is Muniz. Zepeda with a steal as well as it gets, that is going to be a foul. And that'll be against, looks like, Thomas, Harmony Thomas. Her first, team's second. So with 14.3 seconds to go, Hardison comes in, Godwin going out. And it is 21-6 once again. Looking to see about getting the last shot with 10 seconds to go. Zepeda to her right, going to put up a long two, going to miss it off the front. Rebound, that'll be by the Scorpions as it gets to the hands with 2 seconds to go. One, and Hobbs with a steal back, but unable to make anything happen on that one. But at the end of the first, and it is a score of 21-16, a 15-point lead, the biggest of the game so far. We'll be back in a moment as we continue coverage right here on the Hobbs Eagle Network. We are back as it is just 2 or 3. No, actually, it's 2 scores for the Lady Scorpions. It's 4 points for Anatula, and 2 points for Karis Dale. So it's definitely below average right now as we're getting into the second quarter. Meanwhile, for the Hobbs Lady Eagles, Zapata leading the way with 7 points after a tray, along with another tray from Ross. She has 5 points, and a tray from Muñez with 3. That's her whole score. And Armitage, a couple of buckets put in for 4 points. And, of course, there is it is 7 points for Ross as she's put 2 and 2 in on the line. Getting underway, actually it is Muñez, and a stop of the play as whistles played it dead, and I think actually the clock wasn't started, so we're going to get a restart on that. That was Zapata with the ball. Gets it across the timeline, gets it over to Muñez. Right wing inside to Hardison. Thought about feeding it to Zapata, but did not. Instead double teamed, gets it over to Ross. Back to Muñez, top of the arc. Thought about a 3, but instead going to go inside for a long 2 and makes it. So moves around and able to make 2 more points. That's 5 altogether for her so far in this game. 23-6. And coming across the timeline are the Lady Scorpions against Zapata. Going to get back over to the right. Inside now. Thought about a 3. No, barely not. But 3-pointer on the way on the front of the rim is no good. That is for Anatulia. And I swear to God I did try to practice that name, but apparently I did not do that enough. But I'm trying to do great justice for it. 7:21 to go. Inbound of the ball will be the Lady Scorpions. And over to just off the front of the rim, no good. Rebounded by, that'll be Ross, but gets it back, a steal. And that'll be one more turnover for Hobbs and 2 more points for the Lady Scorpions. And Kajana. Muñez over to Ross on the right wing. Inside, dribbles, gets it up, and will draw the foul. Looks like it'll be against Conley, her first, as she was driving up and trying to put it in. And it will be, actually it'll be Dale, Karis Dale, her first. But the team's first as well. And that will be, first one is up and good for Ross. Second one as well, quickly done. 2 more, that is 4 for her, 4 of 4 from the line. Getting it back across again to the Lady Scorpions, wasting no time with 6:50 to go. Lost the handle a little bit, but driving against Ross. Now pushes it, Muñez pushes it out of bounds. It is tried to be passed over to, that is Parrish. Parrish did not get it, but out of bounds nevertheless, though, with 6:44, and the Scorpions with the ball, no turnover. Backing up a little bit, as you see. Over to the right wing, to Kajana. Inside, makes a move, and gets it up and underneath. That'll be Conley for her first 2 of the game. And now it is 25-10. Loses it is Armitage, and that'll be another turnover for Hobbs. That'll be the second one in the quarter. Pushes it up and puts it in. That'll be 4. That'll be Gajani. 2 more points. Back across once again, Armitage goes, drives inside the lane, gets it open, puts up a floater, and gets the nice bounce too to go in. 2 more points for Armitage. That is 6 altogether for her so far in this game. Driving back the other way. Kajani with Zapata on her, then gets it back. Nice little pass, in and out, no good. Misses. Hardison with the rebound. That'll be her second, I believe. Quickly the other way, Armitage gets it back out again for a 3-pointer on the way. And nothing but net for Muñez. That is her second one, and that'll be a timeout on the floor. 30-12, and it is now ballooned to an 18-point lead. I believe that's the biggest of the game so far for Hobbs. And we've got a full minute. We'll take one with them as we continue coverage right here on the Hobbs Eagle Network, whether you're on Hobbs America or YouTube. Of course, we're in Moriarty, New Mexico. It is 30-12. Be back in just a second. Welcome back, as it is. Nobody's in double figures yet, but they're very close. 9 for Zepeda, also 9 for Ross, 8 for Muniz with those 2 trays, and 4 points for Armitage. So apparently I was off on my account a little bit, but for the moment, anyway, it is 30-12. We're getting back into it as the Lady Scorpions are going to be inbounding the ball. 5:31 to go in this first half. And so far, only 1 foul, and that is, of course, against the Lady Scorpions. Gets it back out, and that'll be in the hands of Conley. No, Parrish. Back across. Inside the paint, double team. She's going to have it stolen away by Rivera as she goes back across the timeline. Going to put up a 3 at the top of the arc and drain it. So the steal and the 3, and that'll put Rivera on for 3. Biggest lead of the game right now. As that is me another shot made, and that looks like that was by Ross. So 2 more for Ross. As she now gets into double figures at 11. Going the other way, being stumbled, and Dale looks like she's going to get the foul, though, against Zepeda, her first. As Madison draws that one up, it'll be first for the team. But a shooting foul nevertheless, and that'll put to the line to shoot 2. That'll be Karis Dale. First one is up, and she will drain that one. 35, actually it says 34, 34-13. Sometimes my finger gets a little over anxious. So 34-13, a 21-point lead. Now down to 20. As that one was made as well. Hobbs with the ball. Zepeda crossing the timeline, getting it over to the right-hand side. Going in, drive the lane, pushes it up. Godwin with the rebound. Over to Mendoza. And now into the hands of Riviera, top of the arc. Gonna work against her defender, over to Muniz. To Zepeda, and they're being a little less hesitant than they were last time these two teams met. Over to Zepeda, near the timeline, back again. Gonna drive, and get double team. Pushes it back out again with Muniz. And over to Rivera on the left elbow. Back to the right. We're going to go ahead and push it over to Zepeda, top of the arc. They're actually near the timeline. Going to run the lane, get it up, and floater did not go. Rebound is going to be by Conley, our first. Back across again. That'll be a shot put up, and nice shooter's touch for Parrish. Puts it in for 2 more points for the Lady Scorpions. 34-16. 3:42 remaining as Muniz has the ball, drives the lane, gets it back out again to Mendoza. Mendoza drives the lane, pushes it up, misses, didn't get a rebound, or didn't get the foul, and the rebound will go to Conley. Inside, try to push it to, that was Pete, but misses the pass, and it went out against Mendoza, so with 3:25 to go, it will be inbounded by the Scorpions. Nice little spin around as she was able to put that up and draw the foul. Thomas with 2 and the 1 as it is counts. Let's see who gets that foul call. That'll be the second one for Godwin and the second one for Hobbs as well. Armitage coming in, going to be taking over for Mendoza. So 1 more in the and 1. That'll go up and in and out, no good. Missed as Armitage gets the rebound. Armitage gets across real quick. Pushes it to Zepeda for a 3, misses off the front, and Godwin with the rebound. Tie ball, and that's going to be going for the possession of the arrow. It looks like it'll be still possession for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. 3:09 to go. 34-18 is the score. Good, we got that right. As Zepeda has the ball, gets across the timeline. She has Rivera on her left, and she went over to Armitage, top of the arc. Inside, one-on-one. She's going to go ahead and find a double team before she gets to the Godwin. Throws it, pushes it out of bounds, and it'll be last touch by the Lady Scorpions with 2:55 to go. Katie tried to get it to her teammate, but instead goes out of bounds. Inbounding will be Muniz in the corner. All the way over to Rivera. And it is Zepeda with the ball now. Madison going to drive the lane, get it over to her left. And Rivera with a nice hook shot, misses. Rebounded the ball, that'll be the Scorpions. All the way across quickly and up and in and over. That was the shot put up by Parrish. And it will be a rebound. Looks like that was Muniz with the rebound. And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Hobbs. 2:34 to go. 34-18, and inbounding will be the Lady Scorpions. Over the hands of Dale, inside and out again. Tried for a three, no, thought about it but did not. Instead goes back over to Thomas. Pushes it up, misses, rebound. Finally going to be a tie ball as Armitage is in there. And we're happy that she wasn't hurt from last week as she throws something off the floor. But 2:20 to go. Hobbs will be inbounding the ball, 34-18 as Armitage comes out. Ross will be coming back in again. And Zepeda with the ball. 2:15. Now in the hands of Vera on the right wing. Back over to Zepeda. It's top of the arc. Thought about a three. Nope. Instead, she's going to drive the lane. Push it inside. Get it underneath. And nice touch, too, as she's able to roll it in for 2 more points underneath the basket. Back cross for a three. Actually, that's a 2 on the way. Misses. And it would be rebounded by Ross. Ross with the ball now as she sets up the offense over to Rivera on the left wing. And it will be whistled. Looks like that was a shot, but instead a push foul. And that'll be against Hobbs. And Katie Godwin will get her third. Unfortunately, that'll be third before the first half ends with 1:44 remaining. 36-18 is the score. Hobbs doubling up on the Lady Scorpions so far in this game. Godwin steps out. Gets it across the timeline. Going to go ahead and drive the lane against Godwin. Actually, she's still in there. 2 more points put up, and that'll be for. That is Anatula. Speaking of which, time out on the floor for a moment. It'll be Godwin coming out now, and Hardison coming back in. 1:28 to go, 36-20 is the score. And that was a turnover for Hobbs. Inbounding the ball was the Lady Scorpions with 1:24 to go. Working against Armitage as she backs it back out again, gets in the lane, and turns around and feeds it to the left. And that'll be to Dale. Inside, pushes up a shot against Hardison, and instead gets the travel. No shot, 1:07 to go, turnover for the Scorpions. That'll be at least their 6th one so far in this game. Ross with the ball with 1:05 to go, crosses the timeline. Has Armitage on one side, has Zepeda on the other. She's going to go ahead and drive the lane, get it over to Zepeda. Thought about a three instead, drives inside the lane, gets it on Hardison. She's going to put up a shot, nicely done as she gets 2 more. And it is Zepeda with the assist. So that is her first points of the game. Other side, back over to Thomas. Tried for a 2 and did not make it. Rebound the ball, that'll be Zepeda. As she gets it across the timeline over to Navarro. Ross now has the ball, trying to juke around. Get back out again to, that's Muniz. Top of the arc, inside over to Ross for 3 on the way. Misses off the back of the rim. Rebound the ball, that'll be Kijana. And with 10 seconds to go, 3-pointer on the way, missed. Rebound by Zepeda as she throws it, heaves it, but didn't need to, as it's just, there's still 1.6 seconds remaining. Kind of panicked a little bit. And with 38-20, believe, yep, the Scorpions should have the last possession before the half. So one more possession. So get the defense back out there for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. And inbound of the ball. We'll have to shoot. Nope, instead, just going to take it as it goes into halftime. 38-20 is the score. And we'll be back in a moment as we continue coverage right here on the Hobbs Lady Eagle Network. Of course, it's on Hobbs Sports and the Hobbs. Yeah, well, of course, it's on Eagle 100.5 on the Facebook page, also on YouTube and on HobbsAmerica.com. You can find it under Hobbs Sports, or you can find it on Lee County News and Sports. Be back in just minutes. Welcome back as we thank our sponsors. Without whom, of course, we would not be able to put these on the air and on for free. First American Bank of Hobbs, Eastern New Mexico University, Badger, Master Plumbers, NMR Pipeline, Hobbs Express, Lasco Construction, Divine Energy Services, Unis Pump and Supply, Forest Tire, SunGuard Precision, TDS, DNC Electric, Southwest Siding Windows and Doors, Lee County State Bank, and Bel Air Bowl. Thank you very much all for the support. Without you guys, of course, we would not be able to put these on the air and definitely wouldn't be able to travel out here, get those done. 38-20 is the score. Hobbs up by 18. I think the biggest score has been, or the biggest lead has been 21. Nevertheless, though, Hobbs has been kind of fighting back. I had a feeling they might have a chip on their shoulder a little bit from the loss from the Hobbs Holiday Tournament for the championship. That's the second time they've lost against Farmington, and they wanted to redeem themselves before they get into district. Of course, they have one more game before they do so. That is against the Artesia Lady Bulldogs. So for the scoring, not a lot going on for the, I want to say Moriarty because it's on the scoreboard, but I know it's Farmington even though it's the same colors. So Farmington Lady Scorpions, as they have 10 points from Kajina Anatula. She has 10 points. Also 2 rebounds is what I've got her at. She is 2 for 2 from the line and has hit 4 buckets so far. Also with points, that'll be Karis Dale. She had come in with 11.6 points a game. She had 19 points against Hobbs just a couple of weeks ago. Right now she's sitting at 4, 2 on the line, and 1 bucket for 2. That gives her 4 points. Also have 3 players with just a bucket. That'd be Parrish, Conley, and Thomas, all with a bucket. So that is their scoring. As far as assists, I know I've got 2 for the team. And for the Hobbs the Eagles, for the leader of the scoring, actually we have a tie on that one, as it is Ross with 11, as well as Madison Zapata with 11 points as well. Both in double figures, of course. Both doing it differently, though, with Madison having a 3 buckets with a tray in there as well. With Zoe Ross, she's had 2 buckets, 4 times on the line, 4 for 4 from the line, and she is the only presence that has been on the line so far for the Lady Eagles. And she has 11 points with 2 buckets, 1 tray, and 4 single shots of the free throw line. With 8 points, it is Muniz. She's had 2 trays, also a bucket as well, and that gets her 8 points. The rest of the squad, Rivera has a bucket for 3. That's a tray. And Hardison with 2. And that is Armitage with 4 points. So 6 in scoring figures so far in this first half. Was 4 in the first quarter. Now it is up to 6 for the Lady Eagles. For the Farmington Lady Scorpions, it is also 4 for 4 from the line. And it has, let's see, we've got 13 turnovers so far for the Lady Scorpions, while it has been 6 for the Lady Eagles. We've got 4 minutes to go. We'll be back in a moment as we continue coverage right here. I hope you're enjoying it, and I'm hoping that the signal has been improved. 4 minutes to go. We'll be back in a moment as we continue coverage right here on the Hobbs Eagle Network. I want to mention that the Hobbs JV squad, of course, was victorious just moments earlier, 43-32. They won that one after they had a 25-16 halftime lead, but they did not have the lead at the beginning. They were struggling. It was 8-4 at one point, actually 8-2 at one point. Hobbs was able to get back 8-6 at the first quarter, then came on strong. 9-0 run to start the second. 19-8 is the score for the second quarter, with Hobbs leading by 19. Made the halftime score 25-16. Third quarter saw Hobbs extend the lead a little bit by 4. 10-6 was the score. Hobbs with 10, and the JV squad of Farmington with 6. Fourth quarter saw a little bit of a surge for the Lady Scorpions, but nothing that the Lady Eagles couldn't handle. Final score once again 43-32. 10 points for the Farmington Lady Scorpions. Hobbs came up with 8, and they were able to get that victory as well. It was after an 8-0 run by Farmington in the fourth quarter. So that is an update for the JV squad. 38-20 is the score. We're about to get into the third quarter here in just about 2.5 minutes. Let's see what else we can talk about. Oh, yeah, we can also mention the fact that tomorrow is going to be a good game for the Hobbs Eagles as they face a squad that is Cleveland 12-2, and I believe they are Hobbs is number 6 coming into this contest. Cleveland is going to be ranked at number 2. And Hobbs is outscored by Cleveland if they do the averages, 19.2 versus 14.8 for Hobbs. Also gets outscored in the second quarter, the average by Cleveland, 18.4 versus 15.7 for the Hobbs Eagles. In fact, actually, they get outscored in all 4 quarters. The average for Cleveland has been 73.1, and 60.7 is the average for the Hobbs Eagles. Coming off, let's see, I believe they have a 4 of 5 game losing streak going on. They want to break that before they get into district. They have the Cleveland game tomorrow at 3:30. 3:15 is the tip, or actually going to be the pregame. Ty Friend going to bring it to you on Cool 95.7 on the Facebook page, on the app, as well as on HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube, of course, on Hobbs Sports. And that'll also be at 3:30 for the tip-off as well. Then they have Artesia, just like the Lady Eagles do. That'll be back-to-back, actually. Hobbs Lady Eagles first next Friday, followed by the boys. They'll be playing there in Artesia, tuning up before they get started on Roswell. Of course, both sides going to be facing Roswell, one at home and one away. And we'll talk about that later on as well. So back to this one, 38-20 is the score, and Hobbs riding strong, but they are not going to give up on this team because you never want to sleep on the Lady Scorpions. They are strong, and that's the reason why they are number 1. And Coach Adair, Thomas Adair, has done well with this team so far this year with their 14-1 record. And so is Joey Carpenter, getting his to a 16-2 record. Said last team they beat, or that beat them, actually both teams had, one was Friendship, first one, and then the second one was Farmington. Both teams had tall players. One of those obstacles I think they've overcome so far in this game. 38-20, here we go as we're about to get underway. Of course, the girls always go all out on the floor. Inbound of the ball would be Parrish to Pete. Gets it across the timeline, almost stepped back but did not see it, so didn't get the backcourt violation. Instead, continues on. Inside, back out again, over to Catania. Up and in, nicely done for two to get this thing started. Cross and whistle, and it'll be a foul. Looks like it'll be a push foul against Pete. Her first. Team's first as well. Not a lot of whistles going on in this game so far. That's the first one in this quarter. Back to Zepeda. Madison with the ball. Gets it over to Rivera on her left wing. Uses up her dribble. Gets it back to Madison. Top of the arc. Gets it back inside. Drives the lane. Gets double team. Pushes it up. Draws the foul and puts it in. Nicely done for two for Zepeda. The and one as that one goes against. That'll be Conley, her first. Team second. And and Zepeda with the and one. Misses, unfortunately. First miss of the game for either side. Going back crossed again. That is 7:17 to go. Outside. Turned around, pushes the shot, and drops it in. Another 2 points. That is her 4 points altogether so far for Catania. (40-24) with Rivera over to Zepeda. Thought about a three. Instead, she's going to drive the lane. Nope, she's going to go ahead and get it over Armitage. On her right wing, left wing now to Ross. Back over to Rivera. Maneuvers around, gets it back to Armitage, top of the arc. She's going to drive the lane, gets an opening shot, puts it up, misses, but will get the draw the foul against Parrish, her second one, with 6:39 to go, and that'll put on the line to shoot two, Alana Armitage. First attempts of the game for her. Last game, she missed both of hers. This time, she's going to hit it. 41-24. She's got 5 points so far. One more and make six. She puts it in confidently. 42-24, 18-point lead once again for the Lady Eagles. Gets back across again to Catania. Back out, and that'll be to Conley. Tried for a three, nope. Instead, she's going to drive the lane inside, push it up, and get it to Pete, and that will be, as she has Conley for two, her first in the second. Armitage over to Muniz. Goes to her right. Uses up. Almost had a 5 count, but instead got it out of her hands and over to Rivera. Over to Armitage. To the right to Ross. And out of bounds. It'll be touched last by the Scorpions with 5:59 to go in the third quarter. So inbound of the ball will be Hobbs. All the way over to Zepeda. Back of the near the timeline. Now to Ross. Ross is going to work to her left, push it back over to the right to Armitage. Armitage for three on the way, and nope, it's going to be blocked. Be ram-batted by Rivera. Ross with three. Nope, she's going to miss that one too. 2 for Rivera on that one, on that possession. And three-pointer on the way, and good this time for Muniz. That is her third three-pointer of the game. And now we have a 45-26 lead. 19. Three-pointer on the way, missed. Rebounded by Armitage, nicely done as she pushes it out, but gets the rebounding foul, and that'll go against the Scorpions. Inbound of the ball, let's see who got the call. That's the fourth one for the team. That'll be against Conley, her second. One more foul, and that'll put Hobbs in bonus for the rest of this quarter. 5:20 to go in the third quarter. Zepeda with the ball now as she crosses the timeline. Gets worked against by Pete. Over to Rivera, back to Zepeda. Muniz on the left wing. Now they're just getting it around, trying to see what happens with the defense. Back to Zepeda. Over to Muniz, up for a three, misses off the back of the rim. Blocked out and gets the rebound for Dale. But a block from Ross, and that'll go out of bounds, so it'll continue to be Farmington ball. Ross tried to get that pass, but instead just knocked it out of bounds. But still slowed down the Lady Scorpions with 4:52, 45-26, a 19-point lead now. Back over to the left-hand side for a three-pointer on the way. Misses off the side of the rim, and it's going to be rebounded by Zepeda. Her third. Up and missed. It was blocked, though, as that was a shot by Kylene Maholan. That was the one who blocked the shot from Zepeda. Muniz for three on the way and drops it in. Nicely done. Hits the front of the rim and trickles in for 3 more points. And it is now 48-26, 22-point lead, the biggest one of the game so far. And it looks like it'll be a foul on the floor. First one that'll be against Muniz. No, sorry, that'll be against Ross, her first, the 8th grader's first. 4:24 to go, and the first one for Hobbs as well. Try to get an actually, that was Armitage who was able to jump up and get it, or at least deflect it anyway, get the steal. Zepeda gets the ball now as she gets it across the timeline. It will be a foul. Let's say that'll be against Parrish, her third. On the line to shoot 2 will be Zepeda. For the steal for Armitage. 2 on the way on the line for Zepeda. She's 0 for 1 right now. Now 0 for 2 on the line. 48-26 once again, 4:11 to go in the third quarter. Madison with one more opportunity to get it, and she does. 1 of 3 so far for Zepeda. And now that is a 23-point lead. Does get it across finally. That is in the hands of Dale. Dale being held by Ross. Across to the right hand, now to the top to Dale. Three-pointer on the way, misses off the back of the rim, and it'll be picked up by Dale. Actually, that'll be by Charlie. Back to Dale, over to Charlie at top of the arc, inside once again. This time it's going to be stolen once again by Armitage, and that's her 5th. As she goes up and pushes it in, another 2 more points. That'll make 6-4 in this game. And 51-26, Hobbs rolling away with it with 3:34 in this third. A blocked pass by Ross gets picked up by Zepeda. That's another steal for her. Over to Rivera. 3 off the back of the rim. No good. It'll be going out of bounds. And it'll be Hobbs' ball as the last touch, it looked like, was Charlie. Ari Charlie, the senior, 5'2". Inbound of the ball with 3:21 to go will be Zepeda. Looks like we're going to get a hockey round of substitutions. Katie Godwin, Hardison going to get the ball as she gets back out of Madison over to Zepeda once again. She's going to work the left wing, get it to the top of the arc, over to the right to Navarro. Navarro uses up her dribble inside to Hardison. Gets double team back out to Navarro, over to the right now, over to the left. And Mendoza drives the lane, pushes it off to the right-hand side. Navarro uses it up, goes ahead, gets inside the lane, back over to Hardison, and it will be a turnover, unfortunately, that time for Hobbs. First one of this quarter, I believe, but nevertheless, back across. Over for a three-pointer on the way, and in and out, no good. Rebounded, that'll be by Hardison. She steals it away. But another turnover for Hobbs. It goes back the other way. 2:34. Inside, nicely done as it pushes up. Misses the shot, though. That was against by Thomas. But they get the rebound back, and another shot for 3, misses. Another fight on the rebound. It's going to be 2 against 1, looks like, as the one is Hardison. Jump ball, though. It looks like that'll be in the possession of Hobbs. So turnover for the Farmington Lady Scorpions with 2:22 to go. And Ross with the ball. She's about to get it across the timeline. Nobody testing her. Back over to Ross. Almost lost it. Did get that pass. Over to the right wing now. One-on-one. Back over to Navarro. Top of the arc to Ross. There's Godwin and Hardison trying to see what they can get inside. Hardison now. Over to the right wing to Munoz for three on the way. Off the side of the rim. And Godwin with the rebound. Three-pointer also off the back of the rim for Navarro. Another attempt as it is 2 rebounds for Katie Godwin. Over to the right-hand side to Ross. Back to the top of the arc. Back over to the right. Ross for three on the way. And misses off the front of the rim and will be rebounded by the Scorpions. And that is going to be by Charlie. Puts up a shot, running shot that misses everything. Gets saved by the Lady Scorpions, but in the hands of Hardison. Over to Ross now to Mendoza. Back to Ross. Top of the arc now. Over to the left to Navarro. Over to Mendoza. Inside to Katie Godwin. And underneath to Hardison. She's underneath, trying to get it back out again, and she does. Navarro drives the lane, uses up her dribble. Over to Mendoza. Top of the arc for Ross now. And back over to Mendoza. Over to the left to Navarro. Back up top. As they're trying to get inside, over to Navarro for a long two, and she's going to miss it off the back of the rim. Rebound the ball. That'll be by Thomas. Back across. Thomas stumbles, but maybe get the foul against Ross anyway, even though she wasn't that close to her. But we'll get the nice foul. But that is just the second. Hobbs already in bonus now. As we get the lineup back up again for the starters after that little bit of a rest. 43.2 seconds remaining, 51-26. And it is a 25-point lead now. Three-pointer on the way and makes it for, that'll be for Charlie, her first. 51-29 is the score, 28 seconds remaining. Munoz over to Armitage to the left. She's looking around, back to Munoz. No urgency, as it looks like they may be getting for the last shot. Zepeda back to Munoz. Defense comes out to get him. Over to Zepeda. Trying to feed it inside to Rivera. Now back over to Munoz with 7 seconds to go. Need to take a shot as it is down to 4. Zepeda with a shot, put it up, and misses off the front. It was a rebound almost by Rivera, but that'll be the end of the third quarter. 51-29 is the score. We'll be back in a moment as we continue coverage all right here on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Welcome back, as it is a score of 51-29. Hobbs leading the number 1 squad of Farmington Lady Scorpions here in this neutral site at Moriarty, where the Pintos roam. Thanks for watching with us. This is Ron Gunter as we are about to get into the fourth quarter. Once again, 51-29 is the score. And it has been Hobbs, it's Munoz and Zepeda both with 14 points, 11 points for Ross, and 8 points for Miss Armitage. It's coming back out again. That'll be Scorpions getting the inbound. Over to, missed that shot. That'll be a foul. Looks like that'll be against Armitage. Her first, team's first. So 7:49 to go. First one up is going to be no good off the front of the rim. And that looks like it's going to be against. Is that Thomas? Second one, no, that's going to be good. So 1 out of 2 for Kajana. 29, actually now that's 30. So she did make them both. For Anatula. Let's see, speaking of which, that is her first as well. Anatula with her first foul, team's first as well. Muniz over to the left-hand side. Zapeta inside, Armitage back out again, over to Zapeta. And trying to get that triangle to go in more. Armitage set up. It'll be Monroe over to, actually that is Ross, back to Ross, top of the arc, over to the left-hand side of Muniz. Drives the lane a little bit, does put up a floater off the back of the rim, no good, and it'll be Anatolia with the rebound. Almost got caught traveling on that one, but instead turn around, get a double teamed, and will draw the foul. See, that foul is going to be against. That'll be against Ross, her third. So with 7:03, that's the second team foul. Puts her on the line to shoot 2, and the first one does drop in for Dale. 3 of 3 so far from the line today. One more attempt. 20-point lead so far for the Hobbs Lady Eagles as that one goes off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound is going to be fought. Looks like Armitage is going to get the ball. Nope, it's going to be a jump ball instead. And it's going to be a turnover for the Farmington Lady Scorpions as it goes the other way for Hobbs with the possession arrow. 7:02 remaining. Muniz inbound of the ball. Over to Ross. She's going to get across the timeline to Armitage. Armitage is going to be across the timeline. Drive the lane, gets it pushes it around and gets it up and in as she was underneath the basket. Thought she was going to, she did actually want to pass the ball, but instead ended up having to turn around and shoot the ball and got it in for 2. This time around, it is going to be Rivera with the steal on that one as she drives it across, gets it underneath to Ross, pushes it up and gets it in for 2. Nice assist by Rivera, as well as the steal. Tries to hippity hop across the lane for Anatula and instead draws the foul. On the left-hand side, let's see how it's going to be against Armitage, her second. Armitage draws her second, team's third. And this is going to be the third time this will be a shooting foul, so they've all been shooters. This one goes in for Anatula, and she is 5 of 5 from the line. So she is not the one you want to see on the line on this game. Second one also drops in, 6 for 6. It's over to Muniz, under to Navarro. That is Rivera, up for 3 on the left wing, and Muniz has another 3. And that's going to make it 58-33. Meanwhile, a little bit of activity, and that'll go out of bounds. Looks like last touch by Hobbs, but nevertheless, though, happy with the possession. 6:09 to go, 58-33, and a 25-point lead for the Lady Eagles, the ties for the biggest in the game. Inside, turns around, puts up a 3 over Armitage, misses it. Zapata with the ball. Nope, instead she had it knocked out of her hands over her head, and she's going to be inbound of the ball, or Armitage will be, as it'll be another turnover for Farmington with just under 6 minutes to go, and Zapata with the ball. Zapata now on the right wing, dribbling, hands it off on her right elbow to Muniz, back to the left-hand side to Rivera. With 5:45 to go, Rivera drives the lane, gets inside, tries for a shot, misses, and will be rebounded by, that'll be Anatolia. And over 2, that'll be Dale. 3-pointer on the way, and in and out, no good. Armitage with the rebound, over to, that is going to be Rivera, and Ross is going to get that feed up and in for 2 for that shot. So a steal. Actually, that's going to be a rebound by Armitage, and the one, or the assist by Rivera. Armitage with another rebound as that one goes to Ross once again. She's going to drive the lane, get it up, and put up another. Well, that was going to be an easy layup, and instead misses with 5:04 to go. Sure, she's wanting that one back. Misses that shot, rebounded by, that'll be Muniz. Goes across, gets it to Armitage, pushes it back out to Ross. She's going to drive the lane, get it over to the right wing. Now the top of the arc for Zepeda with 4:41 to go. And a timeout on the floor by Joey Carpenter and the Hobbs Eagles. We'll be back in a moment as we continue coverage all right here, 4:39, and it is 60-33. Be back in a moment on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Actually, it's a 27-point lead now, the biggest in the game. As it is 17 points from Muniz, 15 from Ross, and 14 from Madison Zepeda. Also chipping in with 10, Elena Armitage. And that means 4 in double figures on that one. So far, only one that I'm aware of for the Lady Scorpions with 17 points. That'll be Anatolia. Or Anatila. And it is 4:39 to go. Hobbs coasting to this win, but still cannot let off the gas. The Scorpions team is very good. That's why they're number 1 coming into this game. Over to the left wing right now to Rivera. Back to Muniz, who's had about 4 trays in his game so far. Over to Ross, top of the arc now. Back over to the right wing for Muniz once again. Armitage going to feed it off to Zepeda. Back to Armitage. Inside to Zepeda for 3 on the way from Muniz, and she drains it from that assist from Zepeda. So that'll be number 6 for Muniz. 63-33 is the score, just almost the same as it was in the last game. But this time, Hobbs is on the right side. 30 points is the biggest lead of this game for the Hobbs Lady Eagles, and 3:58 to go, and inbounding the ball. Up and in and out, and rebounded. That'll be finally done as the long rebound goes to out of bounds. Let's see who gets the possession on that one. It was the last touch by the Hobbs Lady Eagles. So the Scorpions continue with the ball. It'll be Hardison coming in after Armitage gets substituted. So Hardison in, get that big body back in there. And it will be a shot put up and put in. It'll be for Anatolia. She's had 6 points, and actually she's had 10 points in this half. 63-35, Scorpions with the timeout. 3:46 to go in this game, and Hobbs is up by 28. We'll be back in a moment as we continue coverage right here on the Hobbs Eagle Network, whether you're on HobbsAmerica.com or on YouTube. Actually, let's go ahead and take this small time while we have it to thank our sponsors, without whom, of course, we would not be able to put this on the air worldwide, whether it be live or recorded. Eastern New Mexico University, Badger, First American Bank of Hobbs, Master Plumbers, Hobbs Express, NMR Pipeline, Lasco Construction, Eunice Pump and Supply, Divine Energy Services, Forest Tire, TDS, SunGuard Precision, along with DNC Electric, Southwest Siding Windows and Doors, Lee County State Bank, and Bel Air Bowl. Thanks again for all your support. Without you guys, of course, we would not be doing this and would not be able to enjoy the games online and on the air. 6 seconds to go for the timeout is done. 63-35 is the score. 28-point lead for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. And inbounding the ball will be Hobbs. So you never know what's going to happen until they play the game. This looked like it was a close one, but so far Hobbs has been dominant throughout this game. Zepeda with the ball as she goes across the timeline. She's going to drive, get inside to Hardison. gets a push and pushes it up and gets 2 and the 1. And she's going to get that one against. Looks like that'll be Harmony Thomas. Harmony, it looks like that is her second one. As Zaylee puts up her second shot. And she will also, actually that'll be, yep, that's Thomas's second. Her and 1, that's her first free throw of the game. She now has 5 points. (66-35). And with the ball now, three-pointer on the way, and she drains it. She has been getting better on her shots, and she's the leading scorer for both the Lady Scorpions. That is Rivera with the ball over to Ross. Ross has the top of the arc, back of the near the timeline. Being defended against by Lupe. Gets it up and will get the foul. Let's see who gets the foul. It'll be against Thomas, or sorry, yeah, that is Harmony Thomas, her third. And to the line to shoot 2 will be Zoe Ross. She is 5 of 5 so far in this game. 6 now, 6 of 6. That's something that Hobbs wanted to improve. That's one of the reasons possibly why they lost by 3 in the last game against this team. Second one up and also good. 30 points now on the number 1 squad, as definitely looks like this could get them vaulted back into number 1. Three-pointer on the way and off the front of the rim. It is going to be rebounded by the shooter, and it's going to be another three-pointer on the way and good for Anatola. So she is racking up the points. Right now she has 25. Cepeda with the drive. Pushes it, doesn't get it in. Almost had a jump ball from Hardison and Thomas, but instead goes the other way for the Scorpions. Loses the handle, but will draw the foul. Actually, it'll go out of bounds. And it'll be last touch by Hobbs. 2:19 to go, 68-41. As we have a substitute going in, it'll be Katie Godwin going in, Hardison coming out. And you do not want to leave Anatolia alone. Almost lost the ball, catches it as it goes before it goes out of bounds. Now will be defended against by Ross. Unfortunately, that'll be a foul against Miss Zoe Ross. That is her fourth actually. Team's fourth, one more, and that'll put Lady Scorpions in the bonus. 2:03 to go in this final quarter for the game. Loses the handle, picks it up against Mendoza, gets it over, and it will be caught by Anatolia. Gets away with a hip shot, pushes it up. Rebound by Mendoza as she gets triple teamed. She's everywhere she goes. There's a white jersey. And she's trying to get out of that grip. But instead, it will be a foul. No, it should be a foul against, is it Mendoza? Maybe just, nevertheless, though, it is going to be back to a turnover for Hobbs. Shot up and good for 2. And that'll be 4. That'll be Lupe, her first. So 2 points for Lupe and a full timeout for the Lady Scorpions. 68-43 is the score. Just double checking everything, and we are good. Back in a moment as we continue coverage right here on the Hobbs Eagle Network, whether on HobbsAmerican.com or on YouTube. $20 points for Muniz, 14 points for Zepeda, and it is 25 points for Gajani Anatolia. Anatolia. And we're getting down to the nitty-gritty as far as the final. Minute 40 to go in this game. And a very comfortable lead for the Hobbs Lady Eagles, but you know they're not going to back up as they're about to inbound the ball. Muniz with it in the backcourt as they get a full court press. Zepeda over to Rivera, crosses the timeline, gets it across, and we'll get double team, get it out of her hands over to Zepeda, over to Muniz on the left wing, all the way to Mendoza. And they are defending that strongly and did a turnover for them. That one, number 5. And a whistle blows, and looks like there'll be there's a player hurt, unfortunately, for the Hobbs Lady Eagles, and it looks like it is Mendoza. And we've got a timeout. Let's go ahead and take one with them. It's minute 21 to go, 68-43. We're hoping for the best, but it doesn't look good. She is on the floor hurting. Be back in a moment. Jordan Mendoza, unfortunately, being carried off. She's got a left leg injury, and with 1:21 to go, 68-43. Not the win we wanted to see as we're losing one of our players, possibly. We're hoping it's just a superficial wound. She looks like she's in a lot of pain. But we're getting back into it right now as it gets back to Lady Scorpions inside. Gets it stolen from her by Rivera as she takes it across over to, that'll be Ross, underneath the basket. Back out again to Rivera. Over to Katie Godwin underneath the basket, back over, and to the right now, over the left now, to Muniz. Tried for a basket, did not make it. Rebound by, that'll be this Lady Scorpions with under a minute to go, about 50 seconds to be exact. Drives the lane inside, pushes up a shot, misses off the back. Katie Godwin with the rebound, and now it's going to be a jump ball. So Godwin did have that rebound. Or it came a jump ball, but it does stay in the hands of the Hobbs Lady Eagles with 41.9 seconds to go and a 68-43 lead. That 5-second violation on that one, and unfortunately could not get that out in time. Turnover 4 to the Lady Eagles. Elementary, though, as it is just 40.8 seconds to go, and inbounding the ball now will be the Lady Scorpions. They have a 25-point deficit to get out of. Tries to feed it inside. Will be stolen before it gets to be a jump ball. Once again, that looks like it was Actually, it was Muniz who was able to get in there and steal it. Her third. But jump ball, and it'll be going back to the Scorpions. 34.9. Feeding around and trying to get back over. Stolen, this time once again by Rivera, over to a streaking Ross for 2, and she does get that to drop in. So nice assist as well as a steal. Goes out of bounds with 17.9 seconds to go. It is 70-43. And we are going to be seeing the Lady Eagles improve to 17-2. Back over again, over to the left, right wing now. With 7 seconds to go. Stolen once again by Rivera. That's her third. And as many attempts. She is just going to let the clock run out as it does. 70-43 is the score. And Rivera with another steal. All right, we're going to get into break. Be back in a moment as we continue coverage, all right here on the Hobbs Eagle Network. All right, welcome back as we have our numbers for you, starting with the Lady Scorpions, who had, that was 6 points in the first, 14 in the second. That gave them the 20 points in the halftime. Third quarter saw them at 9, and that gave them up to 29 points. In the fourth quarter, they were able to score 14 once again, but still not enough, as the final score once again is going to be 43 points for the Lady Scorpions. Meanwhile, for the Lady Eagles, let's get that back. Hobbs scored 21 points in the first quarter, and in the second quarter was 17 to get them to 38. So that was a 38-20 halftime lead. 13 points in the third quarter for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. In the fourth quarter, they were able to outscore the Scorpions 19-14 for the 70-43 victory once again. So let's see what the numbers are. Let's start off with the leading scorer for, that'd be the Lady Scorpions, as she drained true trays in the third quarter, actually the fourth quarter. Got 5 of 6 from the line, 25 points altogether. And that once again is for Gajana Anatula. And let's see. So the rest of them, they didn't have double figures. So she was only one in double figures for 5 points. That was Dale. She had 3 of 4 from the line, 1 field goal, along with a field goal from, actually 2 field goals from Conley. Carly Conley had 4 points altogether. Bucket apiece for, that would be Parrish as well as Loopy. And a bucket for Thomas. They were, let's see, looks like almost perfect from the line. But they did miss 2, so it was 8 of 10 from the line for the Lady Scorpions. Let's see, the last time they had 7 threes. This time around, looks like they had 3 threes in this game for the Lady Scorpions. 1 from Charlie and 2 from Anatolia. So that is the numbers for the Lady Scorpions. Now let's get over to the Lady Eagles, as they fared very well also. Let's start off with leading scorer. I believe that was Muniz, as she had 6 trays in this game. She had 1 in every quarter, 1 in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third, and 2 in the fourth to get her 6. And altogether, she has 20 points. 14 points for Madison Zepeda. She got most of that in the first, as she also had a tray. She was 1 of 3 from the line. Let's see who else we have. Zoe Ross had 1 tray in the game. That was in the first quarter. And she ended up with 7 in the first, and that was 4 in the second. That's 11 points. 3 buckets in the fourth quarter, along with 2 for 2 from the line. She was 6 of 6 altogether from the line. Let's see, that's 2. So 19 points from Miss Ross. Also had 1 rebound as well. She was doing really well as far as getting open and underneath the basket after a layup, or for a layup, after getting an assist. Alana Armitage, she had a bucket in each and every quarter, also had 2 for 2 on the line. That got her 10 points. Had Navarro out there, but she wasn't able to score. We ended up having 6 players in shooting or in scoring position for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. That's what they had at half. 2 points. Actually, it was 5 points from Hardison. She was able to get the and one. Let's see how many free throws we had all together. Of the 11, let's see, it is, I think we just missed 2 of the 11, so 8, or no, 9 of 11. That makes about a little more than 90%. So Hobbs doing well with that as they get into this game and pretty much dominate the number 1 team and show that they are definitely a number 2 squad. Hopefully they'll be getting back up to number 1 after this victory. Coming up next will be Artesia for the boys. It'll be Cleveland as they face them in at the Tasker Arena tomorrow at 3:30. 3:15 is the pregame, and a tip-off is at 3:30 once again. Of course, if you can't catch it live, you can always catch it on the radio or on Cool 95.7 Facebook page, also on HobbsAmerica.com and on YouTube. So this will help. Farmington, though, is going to be facing next Rio Rancho. They're number 3. So they may be 2 and 3 after this one when they face each other next week. So it'll be kind of interesting to see what happens with that. And this is their first loss since Kirtland Central. And it's been over a month since they've lost to any game at all. That's how they had the 14-1 record. Now they've got a 14-2 record. Hobbs again gets up on this one and will end up with a 17-2 record, 8-game winning streak, as this should also increase their rating as well and get them back to number 1 next time they do the rankings on the Max Preps. Like to also remind you that Hobbs JV did win their game earlier, 43-32. That was an 11-point lead after they were trailing in the first, got back the lead, and they never relinquished it after that. So both teams did the same thing. Hobbs never lost their lead on this one, as it was 21-6 in the first, and JV also, after trailing in the first, got the lead and never let it go. I believe that is everything we can do for you other than, let's see, turnovers once again is for the Farmington Lady Scorpions, 32. And for the Lady Eagles, we had 14 turnovers for them. For the steals, Zepeda had 2 steals, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. Armitage had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, and 6 steals. Part of the reasons why 32 happened for the turnovers for the Lady Scorpions. For Jordan Mendoza, before she was unfortunately bounced out of the game with an injury possible, she had 2 rebounds. Hardison with 3 rebounds. Rivera had 2 points. She also had 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals. So they were stealing a lot in this game. That helped them out as well. 1 rebound for Miss Ross, 4 rebounds for Miss Muniz, along with 1 assist and 3 steals. Katie Godwin wasn't able to get anything on the board, but she did get 5 rebounds to help her cause as well, as she was underneath and a big presence for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. Once again, 5 rebounds for Katie Godwin. She was also had 3 fouls. So we'll get this all out to you as we are getting ready for the next game, which is going to be Artesia. Both boys and girls will be there. Tomorrow there will be a game on the radio and on the internet for the Hobbs Eagles. And then next Friday, Hobbs Lady Eagles, both at Artesia for the final tune-up game before the district gets started. Of course, you know that's with Roswell, then Clovis, then Carlsbad. Then we repeat once again and go the other way on the road traveling and the home games as well. So Hobbs will be on the road against Roswell in the first game for district, and the Lady Eagles will be at home against the Lady Coyotes. For myself, Ron Gunner, I want to thank everybody for watching this game, and make sure that you are very happy with your, Friday evening. So definitely going to make sure you get your weekend started off right. Hobbs gets the victory once again, and we'll be back tomorrow with more Hobbs Eagle Hoops, as well as next Friday in Artesia. For myself, for Max Schrack, for Evie Stuber back at the station, making sure everything is going well, and for Jason Farmer also giving me a little bit of highlights and updates as well. I want to thank you very much for watching, and again, catch you next time on HobbsAmerica.com. And a reminder, happy Martin Luther